What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. We've got a massive 11-game slate in the NBA ahead of us. I've got 3 picks that I've already put down that I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Now, before we jump into our usual content, I honestly just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who's left great comments, nice comments over the last couple of days, because it has been a tough stretch. Been pretty unlucky with a lot of plays, but also some reads have been bad. But despite this, the large majority of you guys have been extremely supportive. And I just wanted to say thank you. It means more than you know. Jumping into the recap of the day. Well, unfortunately, yesterday I didn't get to share specific picks with you guys. I did have to go give some people some buckets. Might show you guys some videos of some of my games at some point in the future. But I had a winning day. A lot of the reads that I would have went through in that video is what I ended up playing. We managed to get 16.3 units profit yesterday. We managed to cash one of the infamous Trixies that I'm famous for. We've now hit 3 Trixies so far this NBA season, which has been an absolute lifesaver because a lot of the other plays haven't been great, but it feels good. We hit a Trixie with Dyson Daniels, a combination of his points, rebounds, and assists, Zion James from Charlotte, and we hit Josh Giddey very easily, to be honest, because he covered every single line. We also hit Kyle Kuzma over his points prop, Kevin Huerter over his points prop, and Dyson Daniels over his points and rebounds. In terms of the plays we lost, though, it wasn't perfect. Joel Embiid, we took him for 2 3-pointers at plus money. He was 1 from 6 from deep today. Great matchup, poor variance. I take that bet every day of the week up against Vucevic. And then we hit Franz Wagner over 21.5 points. Well, we didn't hit that. We lost. So Franz kind of fits in the bucket with Luka, Sam Hauser, all of the plays that I think are great, and the players just don't perform. Franz, 18 points, 6 from 15, got the looks, got to the free throw line. What I was most pissed off about was that I didn't bet on Tristan da Silva because that was who I was torn between. And then I've shared a Tristan da Silva pick with you guys on the tube before. He didn't get it done for us. This was the bounce back spot for Tristan da Silva, and I didn't play it, and he goes crazy. So that one sucked. And then Musa Diabate, over 16.5 points and rebounds, played solid minutes, but he got dominated in the time that he was out there. Musa Diabate was really my favorite pick. Him and Kyle Kuzma, my favorite picks of the day. Musa doesn't even get close. So that confidence, that favorite thing, it doesn't work. Just play them all as they are. We only had 1 soccer parlay on, and we managed to cash 1.39 units from that anyway. So, look, a winning day regardless. It feels good. We've got a pretty good swing on things in terms of hitting these tricksy combos, which generate massive profit. So those will still be running if anyone's interested in jumping into VIP. Obviously, after we hit a Trixie, we've got to celebrate. So the discount code is Giddy. If you use the code Giddy, you get a massive discount on your first month of VIP. There's a link for it down below for anybody who's interested. Now let's get into some picks, shall we? We've got 11 games on this slate. There's obviously some injuries that we need to wait on. But my approach for this slate was really to try to target some players that have been overlooked, underlooked, overvalued, undervalued. I don't know how you want to call it, but they're probably not the most famous guys you've seen. But let's talk about these different players. So my first one is in this Brooklyn Nets versus the Indiana Pacers. This man just went off. Whilst I don't expect him to continue to do so, I still think this line's probably not too high enough here for Isaiah Jackson. So I took the over 14.5 points and rebounds. He got promoted into the starting lineup 3 games ago, and since then, my man's been going crazy. 20, 18, and 31 points and rebounds. This Indiana Pacers team is an absolute mess. They've got they pretty much have a full starting lineup that is out, or the quality of their players is pretty much their starting lineup. Nemhard's out, McConnell's out, obviously Halliburton's out, Matherin's out, Obi Toppin's out. So it's like 3 or 4 of their starters, their 6th man, their 7th man, their 8th man. Like, so many key players are gone, and it's opened up opportunities for someone like an Isaiah Jackson. It also helps that Miles Turner left. So Isaiah Jackson been seeing a ton of minutes in his last 3 games, 27, 21, and 29 minutes played. Checking his projections, he's projected for about 27 minutes in this one. So what I like to do is give him a couple minutes either side. So 23 to 30 minutes perhaps is where his window is. And not only, I guess I'll start with that. Like when he plays more than let's say 23 to 27 minutes, looking back on the last 2 seasons, check this stuff out. When he plays more than 23 minutes, he's over this points and rebounds line every single time, averaging 21.4. If we try to remove some outliers, take this down to 29, like it doesn't change anything, right? When Isaiah Jackson gets minutes, he produces. So that's one key part of this angle. The other thing is a matchup. And a lot of the times I take a bet and they're very matchup focused. And whilst matchups are important, matchup data can be a little bit swayed, I guess. So early in a season, it's a fragile thing to look at because the matchup data can change very quickly because there's a small sample size. So the first look is around the minutes. The opportunity should be there. He's been killing it with those minutes and opportunities this season. He's been killing it in those minutes and opportunities in his whole career. Now we talk about the matchup. He's up against the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets are doo-doo. They've got the worst defensive rating. They've got a terrible defense in the paint. They allow the fourth most points in the paint. They allow the ninth most points to his position. They've been getting pounded by bigs. Like if you look at these bigs, Rudy Gobert pounded them. Okongwu gave it to them. Steven Adams gave it to him off the bench. Cork Brenner, who's a rookie from the Hornets, gave it to them. Isaiah Jackson, although he's not built like a brick shit house, probably the biggest guy the Pacers have right now. So he's going to see the lion's share of minutes at the center spot. Should get a lot of rebounds. Should get a lot of assists. Not a lot of assists. Well, he might get the assist, but a lot of points and a lot of rebounds here against the Brooklyn Nets, who are a soft matchup. All of their volume really goes through Cam Thomas and MPJ. Nick Claxton has actually been playing pretty well, but his volume's not very high. So Isaiah Jackson will be playing that helping role, which means he should be in a lot of good positions to get some boards. He should be able to dominate on the offensive rebounds as well, get some putback buckets. So 14.5 points and rebounds for Isaiah Jackson. That's my very first play. The next one we're rolling with, we're going to head to Celtics versus the Wizards. Now, whenever the Wizards play, it's very important you look at their lines first because there's usually a great mismatch on the other side because the Wizards have been getting pounded by centers for years. For years. If you're a big guy playing the 5 up against the Wizards, you're going to chew them up. That's Neemias Queta today, not a high usage guy, not an overly big guy either. So I'm not taking that. What I am betting on, though, is Derek White. And I'm looking to bet Derek White's under. I'm taking the under 29.5 PRA. It's moved to 28.5, but I still think it's worth a look. Now, I know a lot of you guys in the comment section have been asking, where's the unders? Where's the unders? Where's the unders? Well, here's one of them. Derek White under 28, 29.5 is what I took, but the 28.5 is widely available right now. And I'm not only betting and fading this man because we've got the same hairstyle, but I feel like his lines are just still too high. I think he's a player that's been overvalued by the books and the market. There's been a couple of times where I've bet him where he's let me down. But if you're betting on Derek White, he's pretty much letting you down every single time. So breaking this PRA down, his points line is 20, right? He's only scored 20 points in a game once, and that was the first game of the season. He shot the ball 1,000 times to get there. Didn't get many rebounds and assists in that game, but still covered his PRA, right? Since then, he's gone under his points line in every single game. So 7 straight games he's gone under. If you look at his rebounds and assists, he's only gone over his rebounds and assists twice. And that was against the Pelicans and the Jazz, who are dog shit, right? And I'm liking the PRA here for a couple of reasons. The first one, in order for Derek White to go over this line, his PRA, he would have to score 25 points or get close to it or go crazy with the rebounds and assists, which he hasn't done at all this season. And I feel like, yeah, if he has a great scoring night, there's still a good chance he goes under his PRA because if he's scoring more, shooting more, those potential assist numbers I expect to drop. And vice versa, if he has a strong game on the glass or he has a great job setting others up, it means he's not going to be shooting the ball as much. The other reason here for Derek White that I really like about this, it's like, yeah, he's had some tough matchups throughout this stretch, but he's also had some really easy ones too. Take it, the New Orleans Pelicans. It's a prime matchup for someone like a Derek White. He finishes with 21 PRA. Yes, it was a blowout, but he still played 31 minutes. The other was the Utah Jazz. And that last game, he had some great looks, but he only took 9 shots in that game, had 5 rebounds, 6 assists. So he covered his rebounds and assists, but even in really soft matchups, Derek White hasn't produced. The other call out here is in the last 2 games, we're starting to see his volume dip. And like he's been inefficient scoring the ball all season, but more recently, his volume, his shot attempts are starting to come back down. And that could be either Derek White losing confidence in himself because he's been shooting so bad all season, coach's direction, telling him to play a different role. Let Peyton Pritchard shoot more shots. Let Sam Hauser shoot more shots. Fuck you, Sam Hauser. Or something like that. But there has been a reduction in his volume compared to the start of the season because it's just not working. The Boston Celtics have started to win more games as he's started to shoot less. So that's a positive sign as well. But I just feel that this PRA is a little bit too high. Now, the matchup against the Washington Wizards is a soft matchup. Let's not lie about that. But Jaylen Brown could score 40 in this one. Peyton Pritchard could go off. Cater could potentially dominate down low. I just feel like the 28.5 PRA for Derek White with a potential blowout as well with a 12-point spread. If the blowout's there, Derek White's not going to see too much opportunity. So, yeah, a lot of reasons that an under can win. I've learned that the hard way. So I'm going to risk it all here with Derek White taking the under in his PRA, his points, rebounds, and assists. The last play that I got for you, we get back to the overs, so more of the good stuff. And I'm looking in this Pelicans versus the Mavs, and I'm taking Max Christie here. I like Max Christie over 14.5 points and assists. And I feel like this is somebody that the market has somewhat undervalued. So the line at 14.5, he's only hit this in 3 out of 7 games, but he is averaging 15.6 points and assists this season. What's interesting and what I like about this play here for Max Christie is ever since Anthony Davis went down, we've seen Max Christie's usage and his minutes stay relatively stable. He's played 3 games in a row now where he's seen 33 plus minutes. Well, not 33 plus, 33 minutes exactly. What we've also seen from Max Christie are these assist numbers over the last 3 games, 6, 9, and 8 potential assists, covering his assist line there with 4, 5, and 6. So my other pivot here was to take Max Christie for 4 assists, like at insanely plus money odds, because the 2.5 is heavily juiced. But I also like his ability to score here. His points line's at 11.5. He's done a very decent job of that this season. So I've combined them both to take the points and the assists. Why not? I think Max Christie gets the job done today. What else is there for Max Christie? We also look at similar types of players. This is a list of the guards that the Pelicans have faced this season. So looking at the guards they've faced, fucking hell, I keep screwing this up. Faced. 8 out of the last 11 guards who have faced the New Orleans Pelicans have covered their points and assist line against them with a 13% difference between what they finish on and the closing line. This matchup is pretty soft, like I said. The Pelicans, second worst defensive rating, bottom 10 in assists allowed. They allow the third most assists under the basket, where Max Christie gets the majority of his assists. They allow a lot of points in the paint, yada, yada, yada. So Max Christie, I really like it here. And I think one more point on the assist opportunities, right? So it's like, yeah, the potential assists are there. But looking at this Mavs offense, D'Angelo Russell's their only like true point guard on the team right now who's healthy. The problem with D'Angelo Russell is he gets absolutely burnt on defense, and Jason Kidd doesn't trust him to play a whole lot of minutes. So in all the minutes where D'Angelo Russell is not on the court, the playmaking duties are shared between Max Christie, PJ Washington, and Cooper Flagg. Max Christie has the lowest line out of the 3 of them. He also has the more reliable floor, meaning he's been more consistent at producing in this playmaker role, which makes sense. He's got bigger bodies to pass to. It's easy to get assists this way. Whereas Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington, their assists typically head away from the basket. So they typically penetrate first and then kick it out. Whereas Max Christie is usually sending the ball closer towards the rim. Basically, I'm saying he gets higher quality potential assists than the other 2 guys, which means I like Max Christie and the assist prop. The point should be there. The minute should be there. A soft matchup, a 7.5 point spread. I don't think the Mavericks blow them out. I don't like the Mavericks. You know, they're missing a lot of key players too. Both teams missing some key players. I think this loosens things up on the defensive end, and Max Christie should get busy here. I think 14.5 points is a little bit undervalued. Another thing I love about this, right? Even though Max Christie's only hit this line in 3 out of 7 games, one thing to call out, and what I've started to question with a lot of these players, was what was their closing line in these games? And thanks to PropsMadness, the best tool you're going to find if you like betting on player props, you can just click on this button and find out. Max Christie has gone over his closing line in every single game that he's played this season. This line has started to move up slowly but surely, but based on where the market projects him to be, the line that the book set, Max Christie says that line is disrespectful as fuck, and he goes over it. It wouldn't surprise me if Max Christie checks his line before he jumps on the court to see what the expectation is, because he goes over it anyway. So I felt like that was a really interesting take. But Max Christie, the lines have been disrespecting him all season. Looking him to continue this streak of green trends. Let's go over 14.5 points in assists here. And just because the 3 picks are done doesn't mean that we're finished here. I do have some more value to take you through. I'll take you through some leans, some other things I was looking at that I thought was quite interesting. I do ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We did break 30,000 subscribers, so thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Let's keep growing this thing. There are channels out there with over 100,000 or 200,000 subscribers, but I'd love to get there one day, but we're only at 30, so let's slowly climb this ladder. But subscribe to the channel, help your boy out. I'm going to take you through a couple of leans, some other things that I have on my mind as I went through this slate. Nets Pacers. The other player that caught my attention here was Jarris Walker. And I like Jarris Walker's rebounds and assists. I thought this is a really interesting line, 10.5 rebounds and assists. He got promoted into the starting lineup and he's seen more minutes, obviously, with all the injuries and stuff. And he's been producing like a madman lately. And the matchup is a really good one here against the Brooklyn Nets. Allow the most assists allowed, the 4th most rebounds and assists at his position. So I thought Jarris Walker to get some rebounds and assists. That was a really interesting one that stood out to me. 76ers versus the Cavs. This one's a little bit difficult because Darius Garland might come back. Jarrett Allen might come back. Sam Merrill could come back as well. The Philadelphia 76ers, they're on a back-to-back. Joel Embiid's not listed on any injury reports, but I don't know what's going to happen with him because we don't have any lines for Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid might be missing. Shit, I don't even know. But I didn't give this game too much time or effort. There were 10 other games I thought were a lot easier to look through. We got the Jazz versus the Pistons. So one that I did consider here was an under on Karis LeVert, 10.5 points. He's gone under this line in every single game this season. He's projected to play 20 minutes, which is kind of what he has been playing lately as well. Karis LeVert's role in this team, he's really just the backup point guard. His job is to play make for others based on the roster and who they have available. So his volume's not even high. Like the most shots he's taken in a game is 7. The lowest is 4. So if he's going to take between 4 and 7 shots, it's going to be rather difficult for him to score 11 points, right? To add to the fact, he's up against the Utah Jazz today. The Jazz, where they are weakest, is like scoring on the perimeter. They get absolutely murdered from deep. Whereas Karis LeVert, not shooting many threes this season. He's 2 from 8 on the season, shooting 25% from the field. And a lot of his shots and points are scored right under the basket. Up against the Utah Jazz, if there are good at anything defensively, has been kind of defending the rim, but the Jazz typically play with 2 or 3 7-foot guys on the court at once, so that kind of makes a little bit of sense. So Karis LeVert unders, I was considering that, but the Utah Jazz are garbage after all, and if there is a blowout, Karis LeVert might see extra minutes, so there's probably a little bit of risk there, but yeah, that's one that I'm leaning towards. There's also these two. As bad as the Jazz are, Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George just scoring out of their mind. And if you want to talk about someone who beats their closing lines, Keontae George is your guy. So far this season, he's beat his closing line in 6 out of 7 games. He's averaging 23. His line is moving up. Shit, I almost started singing that K-pop Demon Hunter song. Keontae George, though, really interesting. Another person's Yusuf Nurkic on the boards. He dominates his closing lines, but again, now his line's at 9.5 against the Pistons. That might be a little bit difficult. Wizards Celtics, we spoke about Derek White already. I mentioned Neemias Queta. Queta's got an excellent matchup here against Washington, but he's not a very high volume guy, so that could be a little bit difficult. Then on Washington's side, I think Alex Sarr is a pretty interesting look. He's played very well this season, I guess, against the lines that he's been given. His rebounds, well, it was at 7.5. It can still get a 7.5 in a lot of books, but now it's moved to 8.5. I think that line's just about right, so forget I even mentioned him. Wolves versus the Knicks. I feel like Jalen Brunson could score a lot of points today, but it's just a feeling. It's not backed by too much. The Wolves dead last in terms of points allowed to pick and roll ball handlers. So I think that means Jalen Brunson should see high volume. Outside of that, matchup's not too bad, but he should see high volume. But his line is also quite high, the 27.5. It's the highest line he's had all season. So Jalen Brunson should score, but the line could be right. We've got Carl Anthony Towns against his old team. This guy's just a bully. Bullied Washington, but outside of that, he's been a bit of a cat. His rebound numbers have been relatively consistent, but Mitch Robinson may play. Mitch Robinson may have a minutes restriction. Like there's a whole lot of noise there, so I didn't take too much time to look into that. For this Minnesota team, I did look into it because Anthony Edwards may play, and if he does play, that kind of fucks everybody else up. So I just moved past it. We've got Ja Morant. I consider taking the under 21.5 points for Ja Morant. Reason being is it's clear that he's not happy. He doesn't seem to give a shit because I did bet his over last time against Detroit. And whilst he tried, he wasn't playing smart, if that's a good way to frame it up. Like just dumb plays that a player who's not motivated to play would make. He still dimed up really well, but he got a lot of attention. And Osar Thompson did a great job locking his ass up. Now he has to play Amon Thompson. So matchup doesn't get any easier for Ja Morant. And I don't think his love for the game of the Grizzlies has improved much since that last game either. So I was leaning towards Ja Morant unders. I think that could be an interesting look. Cedric Coward, I was leaning towards his overs. I like the spot here against the Rockets. The Rockets give up points in transition and they give up points to spot up shooters. They've been pretty good at stopping like the main player from scoring, which is going to be Ja Morant. Cedric Coward's been like their spark plug off the bench, very consistent. And if the Rockets happen to blow them out, he could see some extra minutes. So his minutes are trending upwards. I like Cedric Coward. Jock Landale's been pretty decent. He played for the Houston Rockets last season. So if you believe in that revenge stuff, then Jock Landale could be your guy. He'll get 25 minutes in this game, so his points are interesting. For the Houston Rockets, I got nothing on the Houston Rockets. Jabari Smith is questionable to play. If he doesn't play, Tari Eason will get the start. Tari Eason has been great lately. Has a decent matchup too. If Jabari Smith is out, Tari Eason's line is going to move. But if Jabari Smith is in, I imagine Tari Eason's line will drop. So if you bet on Tari Eason or if I bet on Tari Eason right now, I better be right in reading these injury reports. So I'm going to wait on that. We got the Pelicans versus the Mavs. Spoke about Max Christie. The other person I was thinking about was Daniel Gafford, over 10.5 points. He's got a great matchup. He just dunks everything. This Pelicans team, second worst defensive rating. They get burnt down low. It's pretty much as simple as that. The Mavs don't have many bigs, so Gafford will play 25 minutes. I think that's the max they're allowing him to play. If he plays the 25 minutes, he should see the opportunities here. That's a whole lot of dunks and free throws for Gafford. I thought about that. For the Pelicans, we've got Trey Murphy, who's just gone crazy shooting threes. He's hit 5 3-pointers in 3 consecutive games, but now he's up against the Dallas Mavericks, who allow the third fewest 3-point attempts. They've got the best spot-up defense. Pretty much for the Dallas Mavericks, they don't let you shoot threes on them, but they will give up a lot of points around the basket. So Trey Murphy threes, as great as he has been shooting, does he continue? I don't know. No Zion here, so who the hell actually takes the ball into the basket is my question, and I don't know who that's going to be for this Pelicans offense. So not too much there. We've got Yves Missy, who's a game-time decision as well. If he's out, then it might be Derek Queen. He just played a great game, so maybe he's earned himself some extra minutes. Heat versus the Nuggets. Jokic's lines are too high for me to even consider. But one person that I was looking at, we got Jonas Valanciunas off the bench, over 6.5 points. I did bet this last time against the Kings, which cashed. But this is a very fast-paced game. I don't know how he's going to cope in such a fast-paced environment. I was looking at Jaime Jaquez. I liked his rebounds and assists, over 8.5 rebounds and assists. Now, a lot of these games were without Norm Powell, where he saw extra opportunities. But even his games with Norm Powell, where he plays less than 30 minutes, he's actually done a decent job here. Over in 3 out of 4, averaging 11 rebounds and assists. This should be a fast-paced game against the Nuggets. The matchup, not the best, but Jaquez will be there and he'll get his opportunities. And then What else is there? Spurs, Lakers. I didn't consider anything in this game. Austin Reeves may or may not play. The Spurs, Wemby's there, kind of do everything guy, but he hasn't been playing his best lately, so a little bit hesitant around that. So I'll wait for the news. We've got OKC versus the Blazers. That should be a defensive-orientated game. Haven't really found anything of value here. I know Lou Dort is questionable. That's one thing on my mind. So I've got no leans on OKC. Then we've got the Warriors versus the Kings. They've got a couple of game time decisions, the Kings. So Sabonis, I think he fucked up his ribs in that last game. Sucks to be him. But Zach LaVine's questionable as well. Jimmy Butler's questionable for the Warriors. Steph Curry is out. Al Horford is out. So not too many lines that are available at the moment. The most obvious choice is Jonathan Kuminga, but I think there could be some value in somebody else. Moses Moody just went off. Maybe Buddy Hield finally has a breakout game as well. He's got a good matchup. And then for the Kings, like, I just want to see Westbrook and Schroeder lines, right? They've been absolutely smoking it, but we don't have lines for them available just yet. So it's a wait and see. But that's a wrap on today's video, gang. I do hope you loved it. If you betted on this slate, I wish you guys the absolute best. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.